Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. This past weekend's race was intense and full of action, but beyond the on-track battles, it also revealed important details about the current situation of some drivers, especially Lewis Hamilton, who continues to face significant challenges adapting to his new environment at Ferrari. Since the beginning of the season, it has become increasingly clear that Hamilton has not yet found the right formula to feel comfortable with his new car, while his teammate Charles Leclerc consistently delivers stronger results and more competitive performances. In the most recent race, Leclerc secured a solid third-place finish, crossing the line just 8 seconds behind race winner Oscar Piastri. Meanwhile, Hamilton finished down in 7th position, nearly 40 seconds adrift from the front of the field, a considerable gap that left many questioning whether the British driver made the right decision leaving Mercedes, where he was fully integrated and comfortable, to face a new challenge with Ferrari. This situation has sparked debates among fans and analysts alike. Will Hamilton be able to adapt and improve his performance over the course of the season, or is this just the beginning of an uphill struggle that could define his time at Ferrari? After the race, Hamilton did not shy away from addressing the issues head-on. Speaking candidly to the media, he acknowledged the difficulties he has been facing, explaining that both he and Leclerc are currently using slightly different car setups and approaches. According to Hamilton, Leclerc and his engineering team seem to be making better choices when it comes to fine-tuning the car's behavior on track. Because of this, Hamilton admitted that he plans to take a closer look at Leclerc's configuration in the upcoming races, hoping to learn from his teammates' strategies and perhaps unlock some additional performance. When discussing qualifying, Hamilton took personal responsibility for his underwhelming performance. He admitted that the car, in his view, had enough pace to achieve a better result, but that he simply was not able to extract the maximum from it. However, when it came to race pace, Hamilton made it clear that he felt he did everything within his power. Despite pushing the car to its limits, the performance was just not there. He described the experience as frustrating, saying that the car lacked balance, stability, and the ability to maintain speed throughout the race. Looking ahead, Hamilton's tone was far from optimistic. The 7-time world champion openly stated that he does not see any immediate solutions to the issues Ferrari is facing with this year's car. In his assessment, the problems are structural, and they are unlikely to be resolved within the current season. When asked about the future, he admitted that he knows very little about what Ferrari is planning for their 2026 car and whether that project might offer the step forward he is hoping for. For now, Hamilton's hopes rest on the possibility that things could improve next year. However, regarding the current season, he was clear he does not expect to be in a position to fight for victories or titles in 2025. Instead, he believes the struggles and frustrations that have defined the first part of the season are likely to continue until the final race. It was a rare moment of vulnerability and honesty from one of Formula One's most successful drivers, a recognition that even the greatest talents can find themselves limited by the machinery beneath them. But what do you think about Hamilton's situation at Ferrari? Do you believe he still has the ability and experience to help the team turn this project around? Or is it more realistic for him to shift his focus entirely toward 2026, hoping for better fortunes when the new regulations come into play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Gabriel Bordalito's race in Saudi Arabia was once again far from ideal, as the Brazilian driver finished last among the cars that completed the race. Naturally, this result has sparked a wave of criticism regarding his performance so far this season, with some fans expressing disappointment and claiming they had expected much more from the rookie. But what about you? Do you believe Bordalito should be delivering better results at this stage? Or do you think he's already doing the best he can with the car at his disposal? Following the race, Bordalito addressed the criticism directly, defending his performance and sharing his perspective on the challenges he has faced in these first rounds of his Formula One career. According to the Brazilian, this is still very much a learning process. He emphasized that he's gaining more confidence with every race and believes that once he fully finds his rhythm and trust in the car, the results will start to reflect his true potential. Regarding the negative comments, Bordalito was clear. Most people only focus on the final race positions and fail to consider the bigger picture. He pointed out that both he and his teammate, Nico Hülkenberg, have been struggling with the same car issues. Even though Hülkenberg brings significantly more experience to the table, neither driver has been able to extract much more from the current package. It's not as if one of us is fighting for the top 5 while the other is at the back, Bordalo stated. We are both facing similar difficulties with the car, and our race pace has been quite close, especially when you consider that these are just my first races in Formula One. He acknowledged that expectations are high, but stressed that his current performance is still decent for a rookie season, given the circumstances. Bordalo also highlighted that there is plenty of room for improvement as the year progresses, but underlined that much of this depends on whether the car itself can offer a more competitive platform. The Brazilian remains optimistic about the upcoming rounds, believing that with a bit more experience and some help from the technical side, the results will eventually come. But the question remains, are the criticisms being directed at him fair, or is the real problem the underperformance of the car? Now it's your turn. What's your take on Bordalo's start to the season? Do you agree with his view that the car is largely to blame, or were the expectations simply too high from the beginning? Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and let's keep the debate going. The world of Formula One never stops, not even on race-free weekends. And if you don't want to miss any of the latest updates, make sure you're subscribed here on the channel with notifications turned on. We're always bringing you daily videos filled with solid information, no fluff, just straight to the point. This time, the news comes from the well-known motorsport outlet The Race, which recently published a report discussing the future of Max Verstappen at Red Bull. According to the article, Verstappen could be seriously considering leaving the team at the end of this season. But beyond that, the report revealed something even more intriguing. Red Bull is already working behind the scenes on contingency plans should they lose their star driver. Sources indicate that Red Bull has been actively exploring replacement options, drivers who could at least minimize the impact of Verstappen's potential departure. The issue is that the current drivers in Red Bull's junior academy have not shown the level of performance required to step up to the main seat, especially not to match the consistency and dominance that Verstappen has brought to the team. One of the key names on Red Bull's radar, particularly from team principal Christian Horner's perspective, is none other than George Russell from Mercedes. This potential move becomes even more interesting when you consider the possibility that Verstappen could switch to Mercedes, a rumor that has been circulating more and more over the last few months. In fact, Mercedes reportedly paused its contract renewal talks with Russell once it became clear that Verstappen was evaluating his future. Amid all these speculations, Horner is said to have initiated informal conversations with Russell over the past few weeks. While these discussions have not yet evolved into formal negotiations or contract proposals, they have laid the groundwork for potential future talks. Both sides seem to understand the situation well. Russell, on his part, has no intention of stepping away from Formula One anytime soon, even if Verstappen takes his seat at Mercedes. Nor does he seem interested in moving to a midfield or backmarker team. For Russell, Red Bull could present the ideal opportunity to stay at the front of the grid, driving a competitive car and remaining in the fight for wins and championships. For Red Bull, acquiring a young, experienced driver like Russell might offer the closest possible solution to fill Verstappen's shoes, should the reigning world champion decide to walk away. It's important to emphasize that, so far, these have only been early conversations, no official offers, no signatures. But the level of interest is real, and Red Bull appears determined not to be caught off guard by a sudden Verstappen exit. The team is clearly looking to secure a solid plan B, and Russell is currently at the top of their list. If Verstappen does indeed decide to leave, this would likely trigger a significant shakeup in the driver market. A single move at the top of the grid could easily cause a domino effect, reshuffling lineups across several teams. The 2025 driver market is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable in recent years. Now the question is, would Russell really be the best option to replace Verstappen at Red Bull? Or is there another driver out there who could fill that role even more effectively? Do you think Red Bull should bet on young talent from its own academy? Or is bringing in an established name like Russell the smarter move? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, because this story is just getting started, and we'll be following every development closely.